Jake Seymour and Kyle Baxter, Reid Miller, and GRD back with another episode of the GRD Podcast. And I don't know what we just watched. It was a crazy Game 6 of the Celtics. We're going to break that all down. But before we get to Game 6, I got to shout out Burner Sports on Instagram. They're today's episode sponsor. Burner Sports is an awesome company you guys can go to. There's a bunch of different contests that you can go on, and you answer all the different questions. You set a lineup, and if you get it all right, you can win awesome prizes, including cash. It's a great service. You guys can check them out on Instagram. Again, that's BURNER Sports on Instagram. Make sure you guys check them out.
Yo, did the guy pay us for that?
Not yet. He's working on it, though. He paid us the first
time. Might have a fucking fight right there. Fucking no. Yo, advertisements on this podcast are about to fucking skyrocket. And we ain't fucking playing around. Anyways, we're here to talk about that big L that Boston just took in double overtime to the Toronto Raptors. That shit was fucking crazy, man. I'm all over the place. My moods are like, I was like all excited today, a little pep in my step. I knew we could have ended somebody's season. I knew we could have went to the Eastern Conference Finals against Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. But today wasn't our day, and today was like a little bitch slap in the face. But at the same time, like, it's a tough game to swallow. That shit is like, come on, man. There was some shitty-ass calls that, like, down the stretch, like, literally lost the game for Boston. A non-call on Kemba Walker. We'll get to that. Nick Nurse walking onto the court. We'll get to that. Jason Tatum throwing the ball out of bounds. You saw Nick Nurse right there. We'll get to that later. What do you guys think about this, like, right off the rip?
I didn't know that basketball turned into a handicap match with the Celtics taking on the Raptors and the refs. That's new to me. I didn't realize that was a new rule. Apparently, refs like to play with the rule book today, especially. So I don't know what the rules of the game are now. I don't know where you want to start from top to bottom. I mean, you can blame ourselves with Tatum playing too cute out there, or Kemba going one for whatever, he was more cardio Kemba than cardiac Kemba today with 5 points in 51 minutes or something like that, 2 for 11.
Yeah, he only had 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists, it looks like. Or, excuse me, 7 assists. He did not have a good night.
Yeah, we call that cardiac arrest Kemba, not cardiac Kemba.
I call him cardio Kemba and all the running he did out there.
Hey.
Nothing else.
Why are you guys trying to bury my point guard?
I know. I'll say this about Kemba.
I'm trying to spin into a positive. Like, I am very angry right now. I am acting irrational.
Are you gonna point the finger at our team?
No, I mean,
no, you could go that way, and you could say, like, you be better, and we don't have to deal with the refs because we did blow them out in 3 games, and we could have did that tonight. But at the end of the day, like, today, a couple of guys on our team didn't have their night, you know.
No, and that's what I'm saying. We were talking about this before we went on. Like, it wasn't because we beat ourselves. Like, that's why I said it's a handicap match. Like, I hate blaming refs, but literally today, this has been some of the worst officiating I've ever seen. Not even today.
Hey,
but
you know what?
It's the least fun I've ever had watching basketball today. I can say that without a doubt.
And that's what it hurts, Reid. It really hurts us that, like, we literally enjoy watching the game. Not only watching it, but, like, picking apart the cool things about a game to talk about, whether they be positive, negative. The other day when this guy got HBK, Heartbreak Kid, in the head. He got kicked in the face. Like, I love talking about every play in every game. But, like, a game like today, like, it gets me mad to think about all the missed calls and stuff that didn't go our way today. It just pisses me off, man. And it sucks to come on a podcast and cry like a baby about the refs. I know it's not going to change anything. I know we're still suiting up on Friday, and it's like, win or go home. That's going to be for all the marbles. And we're going to also get to our predictions on Game 7. But, like, I'm not even worried.
I was very, very upset. This Kemba Walker, he didn't play that good. Well, I'm not going to lie that. He played, like, awful, but I was just upset with all the missed calls. Like, that was something like I was, like, screaming at my TV. Like, so many missed calls. Kemba Walker, you could say, yeah, he only had 5 points. But how many of those layups that he missed at the very end, how many of those should have been called and weren't? Like, so many of those should have been called. He should have ended with way more than 5 points. those were all missed calls. And then, of course, you had Nick Nurse, who was standing on the court. I actually didn't realize, I saw it during the game, but I didn't realize how much far out of his coaching box he was. Like, you can't do that. Like, that's a technical foul. That should have been a tech.
Yeah.
They had a 6-point swing, I think, with Fred VanVleet late in the fourth quarter, which gave the Raptors a huge thing. And I know, like, ESPN, they were being like, oh, my God, Fred VanVleet had 9 points in, 12 seconds or something like that? 30 seconds, something like that. And I'm like, yeah, he had a 6-point swing because he got fouled on a 3, and then I think he had another back-to-back 3s and a flagrant or something like that. I don't know. It was crazy. The whole thing was just stupid.
Down the stretch, it seemed like Toronto could not miss. Like, they missed a couple, but, like, they were just hitting shot after shot. I was like, what the fuck? This game is never going to end.
In a game where, Pascal Siakam has been completely neutralized all season, I guess, to that last pod, too. But you go and you let Norman Powell beat you in double overtime. The guy just did not want a dude named Norman beat the best franchise in all of basketball in a playoff high-stakes game. Oh, God, Norman.
Yeah,
years.
It was tough. I mean, we can talk about the fouls and stuff, but I mean, well, the Celtics only have, I think I'm looking at it now, I think it was only 18 free throws. 18 free throws to Toronto's 25. I mean, that's 7 points right there. We lost by 3. Like, a lot of that kind of screws you over a little bit. And then, I hate to come on this. I know, Reid, me and you talked about it on that Milwaukee game. I hate to come on and just, talk bad about the refs, but I mean, it's the truth. That was the biggest thing that killed Celtics tonight was Tony Brothers calling. And then the icing on that cake was when it was at the end of the game with half a second left. They had the stack play going, and Marcus Gasol completely took Marcus Smart by the back of the neck and just threw him to the ground. Like, last time I checked, you can't do that, and that's an automatic flagrant. And honestly, that could have been a flagrant too. So now you're at the line with the ball.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I'll go.
That's huge.
Yeah. Like, I'll even go back. Like, you still got 0.5 seconds left on the clock after that. But, like, I'll even go back further. Like, you got the Tatum drive. I think it was VanVleet that fouled him, but they reviewed it and they called, like, a off-ball tech on Tatum for whatever he did. I don't know. What was he complaining? Like,
was it on the flail, that play?
Yeah. I've never seen that before in my life. I've never seen an NBA ref have someone be fouled but call a technical on the guy who was fouled. I've never seen that before.
And then afterwards, there was the Daniel Tice under the basket play when he caught the rebound that went short. Like, he didn't violate the shot clock. What were they reviewing? Like, it was on the ground.
They were reviewing the common foul. They called the foul on a I don't remember who the foul was on, but they called the foul, and then Tice was at the line, was going to the line, and then Nick Nurse called for the review. So they're reviewing for the shooting foul.
Well, are you talking when Anunoby wrapped his arm around him?
Yeah, under the basket.
Yeah, so he wrapped his arm around him, and then Powell, I think, hit his arm and grabbed his jersey. Meanwhile, Tice still got the ball and went up with it. And somehow that's a jump ball. And that's the biggest thing with me. Like, it sucks that we lost, and, fuck the refs, honestly. Tony Brothers, you're a giant asshole. If I ever see you, I'm going to cry because you just have ruined so many memories for me where we should have won games like tonight. But
I don't think I care that you're crying. I thought you were going to say you're going to fight him or something.
No. I'm not a violent
I would definitely give that guy a stone cold stunner.
And then,
see, at the other thing, it really
the walls of
the refs fucked us, but at the same time, this is I'm gonna have a little bit of Brad slander right here, but this is where I think Nick Nurse outcoached Brad Stevens. There were just little subtle things where it's like that foul at the end of the game on Kemba. Like, why did we not challenge that?
All right, we're back on.
All right. We got cut out there.
If your internet is not doing too well, I'll get Caden in here so we could get somebody that could really record this shit, bro.
My bad. I don't know how. I just lagged out of the call completely. And then I was talking, and then nobody said anything, and then all of a sudden you guys were talking about something completely different. And then I just lagged out.
Are you in this shit now?
Yeah, it's recording right now. We're good.
All right.
So
for me,
lagged out there for a second, but
I just want to say this for me. I don't see you, Jake. That's why.
What?
I don't see you. Should I hang up and rejoin? Because I don't see you.
Yeah, hang up and rejoin.
Gotta love Skype.
Skype for the win. That's how we record. Oh,
right,
Jesus.
so you guys are able to
for that sponsorship.
Yeah, we'll be all set. All right.
Yo, I'm sorry for cutting you out.
You're
We
fine.
good.
We're good. This last minute has just been a bunch of technical issues.
All right. So, just someone want to start?
Yeah.
All right. I don't even remember what we ended off on.
I was saying that this is where Brad got kind of outcoached by Nick Nurse right at the end for always being in the refs here.
Yeah, and then I was about to say what I was about to say was I think Brad got outcoached by Nurse a lot earlier in the game before overtime when the Raptors went small. They took out Ibaka and Gasol and they moved OG Anunoby to the 5 and brought in Norman Powell to their to that core unit to carry out the rest of the way because what Boston was doing was they had like a streak of like 4 straight perimeter threes off drives and kicks, and the Raptors couldn't guard that because they had a big there to guard Tice and not an extra guy to come out and guard the perimeter. So once they made that switch, it was just kind of Celtics they got lost. Like it threw a wrench in all their plans, and it ultimately led to sloppy plays and a few bad possessions, which cost us ultimately. Aside from the refs, just a few bad plays and stretches by the Celtics because it's a game of runs. It still is, despite poor officiating. Basketball will always be a game of runs, and the Raptors took advantage of that with their coaching and on the court play down the stretch.
I mean, I will say this though, you got to tip your hat to Kyle Lowry. I mean, he was very, very good.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed like he couldn't miss a shot at all. Not to mention too that fadeaway he had on Kemba. I think that was the game-winning shot. That was an insane shot. I mean, I saw that, and I was like, great defense, Kemba. And now I was screaming, "Oh, somebody get the board!" And then it went in. I was like, "You got to tip your hat off. That was a good shot."
I cannot stand Kyle Lowry. One of my least favorite players to watch, just as a rival and just as a player. I gain a new respect for Kyle Lowry this series as a player. I don't respect how his tendencies on the court, his persona, like his attitude, but just like he's a leader at age 34, and just like his game just get like taken to a whole other level since last year's playoff run.
I mean, real quick on Kyle Lowry though. I mean, I can't stand watching him because he's a fake player. Like you see him like he gets flicked a little bit and he flops. But even too, I don't know if you guys saw with half a second left, the Celtics they were kind of walking towards the other end of the floor, like saying like, "Yeah, we completely lost. Like this is it." And Nick Nurse called a timeout, and Kyle Lowry was literally screaming at Nick Nurse. And he called a timeout to advance the ball up to half court so they could have, I don't know, more floor to work with, I guess. I mean, it was a questionable call, but Kyle Lowry was very angry at him, literally screaming with him in the timeout, and even walking away at the end of the timeout was screaming at him. And then after the game on the little encore post-game interview, he started praising Nick Nurse, saying how good of a coach he was and how like he made all the good moves. And it's like, dude, you literally just like basically curse him out, and then you want to go on like, you know, the mic and be like, "Oh, I love Nick Nurse, such a good head coach." And it's like, what are you doing?
That's heat of the moment. That's nothing there. I don't think it's just a high. He did
it from when he was before the timeout was called and he was yelling for it all the way before the ball was inbounded.
It was a dumb.
That's a long time.
He does the same things with the refs, though. I'm surprised he doesn't get more technicals, but
I mean, like people always say, like, "Oh, well, he's one of the players that like you love him if he's on your team, you hate him if he's not." But even if he was on the Celtics, I would hate him. I hate the way he plays. And you can say the same thing about Marcus Smart. Like maybe he does that, but Marcus Smart at least has like Marcus Smart's different. Like I don't know how to explain how different it is, but Marcus Smart reminds me more of like a KG, like personal, like you know that type of like you know like Sona to him. And then like Kyle Lowry just reminds me of a baby, and he just cries. And I don't see anything with that.
Put it on a T-shirt.
Kyle Lowry's a baby. Oh man, I can't stand Kyle Lowry. I've always hated him before the series, but now this is just like
I hate him definitely made the right move though, keeping him and not DeMar.
GRD, you look like you're biting your tongue.
I mean, I've never been a fan of Kyle Lowry, and I don't know, like offensively, I know he's always been a threat. Every time we play him, he always has great games, but like I just never respect him for like the way he like carries himself. Like
no, absolutely not.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't respect him in that regard, but like he's got some of the clutch gene, and you can't deny that for anybody, no matter if you like him or not. Like it's that level of respect on the court. As a fan, at least, I would just like because like I would never, if you asked me like a year ago, I would not be worried about Kyle Lowry at all. But like when he's on the court, when he's doing his thing, like this series, he's a problem. Like he's had the advantage over Kemba this offseason. Like he's won that matchup for sure.
I definitely feel like he like reinvented himself as he got
Right.
older. Like,
As a
Yeah, he did.
34-year-old.
yeah,
Right.
Get a
Mine's-
latest surgeons.
like a Chris Paul kind of thing. Like,
Right. But to a higher magnitude.
So let's like go ahead now. We could talk about like everything that went wrong in that game for like ever. Nothing's gonna change it.
No.
What do we have to do for Game 7?
Well, before we talk about like that off-court scuffle, like with Smart, like getting in their faces, like that's gotta light a fire under them easily. Like they're mad at the ref. Like you see, like Daniel Tice going to the ref's face. Not talking about it's like back. Doesn't matter. Like just going like clapping, like applauding him, like good job today. Like I don't know if you guys saw that at the buzzer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was, you couldn't miss that. Like that
I love the scuffle.
That had to lit a fire into this team.
That scuffle, that I love that about Smart. He got at it at the very end. I mean, rightfully so. I mean, Marcus Gasol literally shoved him, like I said earlier. And that's something, too, you look at it and it's like, Marcus Smart gets like that. I mean, like you said, it has to light some kind of spark under it. Even earlier, too, you saw Jaylen Brown, like Kyle Lowry. This is another reason why I hate Kyle Lowry is that, and why I said he was fake, because, you know, he hates you, and then he falls and he was like, once over, like, oh, come here, I'll help you up. And then Jaylen Brown completely ignored him, which I was like, if that was at the Garden, I even put it in our text chat. I said, if that was at the Garden, it would have blew up. Like, the Garden would have went insane. Like, this game in general would have made the Garden go crazy, but that play alone, that early, would have blew it up.
Right. Yeah, like, also, like, we'll go, like, the Jaylen Brown, like, post-game comments on Nick Nurse. Like, he's saying, like, grown men should be able to contain themselves, especially coaches. Like, they shouldn't be able to step on the floor. Like, Jalen's, like, the most, like, mentally headstrong players in the league. Like, when he can, like, tap into that, like, mindset, like, he's the most, like, mature and, like, IQ-wise on and off the court. And that does matter in these kinds of, like, it's like, separates the men from the boys. Like, that's what Jaylen Brown's going to have to do this Game 7. And I think he can do that. Another thing, in this season as a Celtic, I've never seen, I don't know how, like, specific you guys want to, like, dive into it, but I've never seen Kemba Walker have 2 bad games back-to-back. I've never seen that happen.
I agree with that.
Like,
I think
he's
part of it.
able to turn it on at Charlotte. You know, he's never made this far of a playoff run before. Like, but he's never had 2 games like this back to back. He's turning around instantaneously, and that's something that if you just had double the amount of points as he had tonight, instead of 5, you had 10. That's a W. Little things like that. It's what I've been saying every show. If him, Brown, Tatum, if they're right, all 3 of them, that's a W. We saw that Game 5. We didn't see it tonight. It's just little things like that that takes this team to another level, kicks into another gear. It's just frustrating when they don't do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we can harp about this all, you know, like GRD was saying. We can harp about this all we want, but it's not going to change anything. We gotta move on to Game 7. That's the next game. I believe it tips off at Friday, late game too. I think the pregame's at 8. What is that? 8:30 tip off. I mean, that's going to be prime time right there.
Disgusting.
Yeah, 8:30 tip off.
Later than that, bro.
Is it? I mean, I'll look it up right now. Anyone wants to talk about the predictions for Game 7?
I mean,
Like to go?
I can start us off with a quick thought. What time is that game at?
It's a 9. I just looked it up. 9 p.m. start.
So it is 9. So that shit will probably not even tip off till like 9:10. You think?
According
Yeah,
to Google, it
9:15
says it's to be determined.
Well, I just looked on the NBA app and it says 9.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 9.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
Game 7. That's like the
you're in
best
the
2 words in Boston.
Right.
Game 7.
Yeah,
Game
That's all I'll
7.
say.
This is gonna be crazy, but I will say this: I predicted this series would go 7 originally, and we talked about Boston, Toronto. I said that the series would be a bar fight. Was I right, boys? I was right,
Yeah.
right there.
Right. You were right.
I'm not an analyst. I don't know shit about basketball. I'm a fan, and I have opinions on every team because I watch a lot of basketball. Anyways, one thing I'll say about Game 7 this series, I'm excited because I feel like every championship run has that series that goes 7 that makes character of that team. Like, and this right here, this will be that series.
2008 Celtics went to a 7-game series. Just saying. Continue.
They
They went to
to
7-game series in like every series.
Yeah.
they went to a couple, bro. And I just feel like this is gonna bring our team together. Like, it's a battle-tested shit where, dude, tomorrow they're gonna wake up and they're gonna go to practice and they're just gonna be like, yo, I don't want to fucking leave the bubble. Like, we gotta fucking ball out. But as are Toronto. Like, I was in the military. In the military, when they break you down and they're training you and they tell you right there, like, I joined in the time of war. I'm training to kill the enemy. Every single day, the enemy might be training harder to kill me. So that's pretty much what you're going into Game 7. That's how I look at it. Both teams are going in their bag. I feel like Tatum and Brown, they should play the whole goddamn game, bro. Maybe give them a break in the third quarter or something. Let them breathe before a long run in the fourth. But, like, you got to go in your bag. I swear to God, Game 7, like, the season's on the line. Not even that. The league is wide the fuck open. Whoever wins this game is going to the NBA Finals, you got to think. And I'm not downplaying Miami. That's going to be a whole... We could talk about them in a 5-hour podcast. But Friday's game, I really hope that it doesn't come down to the referees. I just hope the better team wins. And the better team has been Boston. Boston has won by 22, 18, and 22 again. Like, all Toronto's wins, they won on a freak-ass shot. They won this controversial-ass game. And then Game 4, you could say whatever. I think that game was over before it started because OG shot, like, swifted the momentum. But we still didn't get blown out in any game. Like, we're the fucking better team. Let me hear it, boys.
Yeah,
calm down a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like I said this the other show like 2 days ago. We gave up those 2 games prior to tonight, but our defense is what kept it competitive. Like, Game 3 was the fluke 0.5 shot, whatever. Game 4 was an atrocity, but we kept it competitive because our defense was great, good enough to help out when our offense wasn't there. Tonight was the same thing. Like, our offense was cold through stretches, like that third quarter. We are not good in third quarters. I don't know why. Third quarters, we are terrible. We cannot put it together. That's where we blow most of our leads. We went from a 12-point lead to 7, I think was at the swing. It's just frustrating that, like, those little things that just continue to happen over and over, we don't have an answer for. But tonight of all nights, we said it was going to be a bar fight. Tonight was a literal bar fight. It got really chippy at times. Like, it was made for good basketball, but it got hostile on the court, which is something you miss in today's game. You miss that edge. You miss that. This is like that division rivalry that the Celtics and Philly wasn't this year. Like, this is the rivalry, not Celtics-Philly. It's Celtics-Toronto. So to pull out Game 7, it's like you said, it's who wants it more. I think there's too many factors that point to a Celtics win. It's how we are with our backs against the wall. It's our defense has been superior throughout this whole series. It's just that our offense needs to play to that level, and that is just Kemba just showing up and playing halfway better than what he did today, or Tatum making a few extra shots, not playing too cute. I think it's Brown being that mental animal on the court that he is, that we know he can be, that he was tonight, that we just didn't have. He just didn't have his help. And just Smart making the Marcus Smart plays that he's that piece that Toronto just doesn't have, that will ultimately put this team over the edge. It's like, what's his purpose? Like that, you're going to see that in Game 7, I think. You're going to see why Marcus Smart makes his team a championship contender come Friday.
I mean, this is going to be – I mean, I said it from the start.
Before you go deep, I just want to say something. Like, I hope to God that Game 7 does not get decided like tonight's game. Because if we have to go into an off season with this sour taste in our mouths that we have right now after this game, like, that would be horrific. Like, it's one thing that we know, yeah, shit, we got to play Friday for a chance to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. But, like, imagine ending our season on a game like tonight. That is going to be a tough podcast to record.
Right, but, Jake, I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to say something before you go, Jake. Like, we say how the Celtics have had all these, like, assets and pieces since they made the Garnett and Pierce trade in 2013. Like, they're seemingly playing for the future, like, every other year. Like, they keep adding pieces. They're like, oh, wait till next year. This isn't their year. Milwaukee's out. The Lakers and Clippers are vulnerable. The Rockets maybe aren't a championship contender. The Nuggets are vulnerable. This is the year. This is the year it's in our hands. Like, it's not like, oh, we showed our young guys are capable of playing to, like, a high stake, like a deep championship run, whatever, like a deep playoff run. No, like, it's not like championship or bust. I'm not saying that, but, like, we're ready now. We're ready. We got Tatum's, like,
the path
they're ready now. Like the chances now. Like I don't know like why we're like still like looking at the future. Like no, it's in our hands. Like it could have been happening tonight. We could. Oh my God! Like we're ready for it, and it's frustrating when things just don't fall our way that are out of our control, like the refs. Like, Jake, you go.
Yeah, so that's a very good point. I mean, everyone keeps saying, "Oh, in a couple years," no, it's now. You're 100% right. I mean, that's like green teamers mentality right there. Like, oh, we'll get them next year. Oh, we'll get them next time. No, it's gonna happen now. But anyways, Game 7.
Now.
Best 2 words you'll hear in Boston sports. The only thing that'll top it is Game 7 in Boston. All right, Game 7 is something that just like it's the icing on the cake. Like that's when real men come to play basketball, football, hockey, like whatever the game is. That's when it happens. And the fact that we can't go there is kind of irritating a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'd love to be there to see it, right? But going down to the actual game itself, I expect the Celtics to come out 100% guns blazing. I mean, we posted that video today of KG in Minnesota. He was talking about like, yeah, I got a couple of Glocks or whatever. Like I expect them to have that mentality, that dialed in, like ready to play basketball and absolutely ready to put the dinosaurs away. Like I'm sick of seeing this team do anything. I'm sick of it. I want them to come out 100%. Jaylen Brown, like you said, mentally locked in. He needs to do his thing. Tatum needs to go for like 40. Kemba needs at least 20, and then everyone else just do your own thing. I mean, for the majority of tonight's game, really 5 guys played. Tice, Brown, Smart, Tatum, and Walker. Those are the 5 guys that played the majority of the game, right? So if those 5 guys can come out and play decent or even like halfway decent, just play your basketball. Don't play hero ball. Just do whatever you want, and you'll be fine. You'll win. So that's what I look at in Game 7. And Corey, to your point, if we lose Game 7 like we did tonight, I'm going to be so mad because that's something where it's like that's out of our control. No matter what we could have done, like nothing can change that. And it's down to the refs and it's down to the NBA and the money thing. This goes like back in 2002 with the Kings and the Lakers in that conference finals. Like I don't want that to be us. So, Celtics in 7. I said it in the beginning, and I'll stick by it. This is a bar fight, like we've been saying, but I'm going Celtics in 7.
I will say the odds are in our favor because it's only been the road teams that won this series. So if that seems to continue, like we got that little trump card. But
imagine we had to go to Toronto for this game.
Exactly. Yeah.
We wouldn't have been going. We would have been in Boston tonight. You kidding me? Toronto would have shit the bed.
You're right, but I'm saying like if we would have had to go to Toronto for Game 7, that shit would have been hard.
Like Celtics are literally America's team right now. Like this is to knock off Canada. Like it's America versus Canada right now.
Yo,
come on. Like
I'm gonna say this. Actually, Kyle, you could talk first.
Okay. I doubted us against the 76ers, and I really thought after everything happened, that a couple games in, they'd come back and beat us. I learned my lesson when I did that. So as much as I want to doubt us after the momentum swing they had after Game 3 going into Game 4, I mean, it's definitely swinging their direction with the refs right now. I'm not going to. I'm going to say the Celtics do pull this game off because in 2018, when Marcus Smart and Terry Rozier went 3 of 21 from 3, and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown lost that Game 7 against LeBron, they don't want that to happen again and have that sour feeling where, yeah, the Heat are a good team. I think I said it episode 1, don't sleep on the Heat. But, I mean, like you said, GRD, this is a walk to the finals this year. So if we had to go, I think they would be super pissed losing, especially because we won the series tonight.
Well, you gotta think that Toronto is thinking about the same thing as us, Kyle.
Yeah.
I know.
I don't think it's a walk to the finals. I think we're just saying it's wide open. Like it's win now for all these teams, not just the Celtics.
I definitely would take them over the Heat, but I mean, the fact that Kemba got a stupid foul with 2 seconds left and didn't get called for it, I mean, that would have been the series right there. So I don't think they let 2 games go when they, could have put the series away. So I really think that's it. They got it this game, even though it's going to be a tough game to win.
Hey, Scott Foster, he's reffing Game 7. He's another guy that he's not a big Celtics fan, whatever. I'm going to say this. Game 7 Friday is on 9/11, September 11th. If Toronto beats Boston, that will be the second worst thing that ever happened on September 11th in this fucking country from another country. These Canadian motherfuckers can't beat us on Game 7 on September 11th. Not on my watch, bro. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty weird thing to happen. Game 7. I mean, like, I'm at a loss for this game because I'm mad. Like, I'm generally mad. Like, I try and like not come on and be pissed off and just start like starting my head off. But I mean, like, seriously, I'm mad about this game, right? Game 7, I'm at a loss for because I'm excited. This is the first Game 7 that I've been excited for since going to the TD Garden and seeing Jason Tatum dunk on LeBron James in the conference finals in 2017, 18, whatever year that was. Like, I saw that live. I was there. I was in the suite. I saw it, and I was on cloud 9. And like, I'm right there for this game. I mean, I wish I could go there. I wish I could be there, support the guys, but you know, something's gonna happen in this Game 7 that's gonna be like we said earlier. That this is gonna be something that marks this team in. Like, okay, yeah, when they won Game 7, we knew they were gonna get to the finals, so we knew that was gonna be a series.
Either that or winner could get whacked by Miami. Imagine that.
You got to sweep by Miami.
Like
Can you imagine? I don't think Miami makes the finals.
Miami and Boston is like the old days if it were to happen. Not the good old days because they weren't very, very good, but it's like the old days.
But I don't know. Celtics, it's gonna be an interesting series to say the least. But like we always do at the end of the episodes after we talk about the Celtics, let's take a look around the association. So last night, Miami, they moved on to the conference finals. If you guys couldn't have already told, we kind of talked about it a lot. Miami, I was shocked that they beat Milwaukee in 5. Like, nobody saw that coming.
I mean, I can't believe that shit happened. Giannis is out, and a lot of questions over in Milwaukee. Like,
is he a Buck next year?
I think he is only because he's not a free agent.
Right. But like, does Milwaukee jump the gun? Well, actually, I'll say this. I'm not even gonna say about Giannis. I mean, there is a chance, but like, this is a hot take, what you want to call it, or a cold take. But is Budenholzer the coach next year?
I mean, I think his
rotations are not very good at all. They are not very fond of him.
I think his job is up in the air completely. And to answer the Giannis thing, I think that like Milwaukee would be stupid to trade him. Like, he's said it over and over, like he wants to stay there. Like, right. I feel like they could go deeper and mortgage like a lot more of their future and do a lot more things to surround him with better players. I feel
spin zone. So did Kyrie.
All I know is like that team has not like blossomed to their full potential yet. Like, their fans and shit, like they might be coming impatient, whatever, but like they need other players. Like, those 2 guys they have are not good enough. No way.
I mean, Chris Middleton usually does good.
Chris Middleton's good against the Celtics.
He has solid nights, but he's not a second guy. He's a third guy, if that.
Not at all. You're right. What I think is they're going to pursue Chris Paul. That's what they've been linked to since.
Yeah, they need a point guard.
But still, like, dude, if I'm like a Bucks hater, like I would want them to get him because I feel like he's like has little left in his tank. Like, yeah, he's gonna be in the league for 2 more years, but
like Philly's linked to Chris Paul too. Like, I don't want to get sidetracked, but like if I'm a Celtics fan, I'm begging the Sixers like give up Simmons for Chris Paul. I'm begging for that to happen.
Those dudes want to trade. They're going to have to try to trade Al Horford this year, and they're going to have to pay up. Like, they're going to have to give one of their good young players to get rid of him and shit. It's weird.
Yeah, either that or Tobias Harris needs to go. One of those 2 guys.
That's why we're going to have a crazy-ass offseason on this podcast, so everybody that's listening at home should definitely, like, subscribe on YouTube. We're obviously throwing every episode on YouTube.